Hey friends, I'm so happy with achieving highest awards in pie making, and today I'm excited to share with you how exactly I make my pie crust and everything I know, so let's get right to it. Let's start with getting ice cold water ready. Keeping cold is essential for the best pie crust. We start off by mixing flour, salt, and sugar together. With flour, I'm using half all-purpose flour and half cake flour for a more flaky but tender crust. If you don't have cake flour, just all-purpose flour should be fine. Pastry flour is supposed to be the best, but if you don't want to store it, mixture of cake flour and all-purpose flour produces similar results. Now, my recipe does not need vodka. I never use this for my pie crust, but if you often find your crust being tough because the dough might have been overworked, replacing part of water with vodka might help. Fat is what makes a pie crust beautiful. There are many types, but if you want the best buttery flavor with the unique distinct flakiness, butter is the only choice. However, it's the hardest one to handle. Now, lard makes superior flaky but tender crust. Its higher melting point allows more time to work on the dough, but it's lacks in flavor. And some cheaper, lower quality lard may also give some off taste. A mix between lard and butter will make a good crust with balance in flavor and texture. However, I'm a flavor kind of guy, so 100% butter is my choice and the judges loved it. Last but not least, shortening is best for decorated pie and easiest to work with due to its highest melting point. But other than that, it's inferior in flavor and the most highly processed fat, so I would not recommend. We use a total of just 11 tablespoons of water, adding 4 tablespoons each time. Post for 5 to 6 times, with each post is about 2 to 3 seconds. When the mixture stick and hold together, when being pinched like this, it is good to go. But if not, a few more pulls and maybe an extra teaspoon of cold water will fix it. Now we quickly gather and press everything together to form a log. Then divide in half, using a scale for accuracy if you have one. Now this step is super crucial in my opinion, as it makes rolling the dough later so much simpler, easier, and beautiful. No cracking, no fixing, no patching, nothing like this, just perfectly rounded crust. What you do is squeezing and pressing the dough tightly to ensure everything binds together. Use your palm to cup on both sides. Press and rotate to form a rounded ball. Press it down. If there is any crack, squeeze and press the dough back in together. Repeat until you have a nicely rounded disc that has no cracks on its side. Try to work as quickly as possible though, so the butter won't melt completely. Now plastic wrap or place in a Ziploc bag, then keep in refrigerator to chill the butter again for at least 2 hours. Fast forward, let's make our crust. Leave our dough on the countertop for a few minutes until it's just softened enough for rolling. Meanwhile, get our station ready. Prepare egg wash, only if you're going to bake a pie right away after the crust constructed dough. In this instant, I'm going to bake my blue ribbon pumpkin pie. It's absolutely delicious. Now we generously apply flour on the clean surface, our hands, both sides of the dough, and the rolling pin. I love rolling pin with handles. It gives me so much more control, good grip to easily and quickly changing the directions compared to one without handles. During rolling, apply flour as needed if it feels sticky. What I like to do is, once the crust rolls out to about 7 inches, I flip it to the other side and reapply some flour on the surface. The rolling pin top of the crust to prevent sticking, then I just finished rolling out the crust to desired size. Placing the pie pan on the crust to measure if it's big enough. Remember, the bottom crust, you must also account for the size and the pan's rim as well. The thickness of the crust is generally about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. To transfer to the pan, just fold and unfold, like that. Much faster and easier than trying to roll it on the pan then unroll it on the pan. If making double crust pie, you can trim the edge flushes with the pan rim. But if making single crust pie, which is what I'm doing right now, you want to leave about 1/4 to half an inch overhung. Depends on how wide the pan rim is. We then fold it under itself. But here's a small tip. I like to pinch the edge to make it a little bit thinner, so it won't be overly thick after the folding. Also, I like to dabble some water on the underside of the edge before folding to make sure it sticks nicely together. About pie pan, aluminum pan is the best to have brown flaky bottom crust due to its superiority in heat conduction. Ceramic and glass pan conduct heat poorly, so to avoid unbaked bottom crust, you may have to employ par baking, which is a hassle, but I have a fix for that. I'll show you in a little bit later when we start baking. To cream the classic pie edge, use your thumb on your left hand, of course other fingers, whichever works for you. Slightly push and press down on the crust, while your two fingers on your right hand pushing the edge inward, just like that. Repeat with the rest and voila! This crust looks beautiful. Now we keep the crust in refrigerator to reframe its shape while preparing our filling. I love saving these scraps to decorate our pie later, or you can just throw them away. So basically, the crust is ready to be filled and baked. Do you see all these speckles? They are bits of unmelted butter. And that's how a proper prepared pie crust should be. These speckles will make our flavorful buttery crust super flaky with layers of goodness. But here's a few more notes before we're done. First, keep the crust cold up until baking time so it stays in shape better, especially when using 100% butter crust. Egg wash makes your crust shine brown extra beautiful. Brush it on the exposed part just right before baking. Now, 1 egg with half tablespoon of water is what I always use. Earlier, I mentioned about par baking when using glass or ceramic pan. This step likely to be necessary to avoid unbaked bottom crust, but there's one way to skip this step. Yay! All to do is placing a large, thick and heavy-duty pan like this USA pan. Oh, I love this pan! Okay, just place it on the very bottom rack and preheat the oven as normal when ready to bake your pie. That way the bottom crust can be baked fully without par baking. You can try thinner pan too, but it may warp, so just be aware of that. I do this even with my metal pie pan as well, to have an extra brown and flaky bottom crust. Now, if I missed anything or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Happy to share all my driven recipes. You have a great day, okay? Bye-bye.